If that doesn't get you ready, I don't know what will. Come on, let's say hello and welcome to two coaches who will surely be in the spotlight all season long. Alabama head coach Nick Saban and Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders, who are promoting the latest college football campaign from Aflac, Aflac Duck versus Gap Goat. Gentlemen, the college football season, it is here. So excited. And I was debating over which one of you gets the first question. Age before beauty? Age before beauty? I was going to say we agree on this, although we can debate the beauty part. You both are. Coach Saban, you're preseason #1 for the 7th time in your 16 years at Alabama. At this point, 10 days before your first game, I'm dying to know, what's your priority day-to-day, practice, meetings, as you get set for game 1, Utah State?
Well, I think you're always sort of trying to prepare yourself. So we're really full metal jacket into, concentrating and focusing on the details of execution, the discipline that it takes, trying to get more and more players be able to complete a task on a consistent basis so they have a chance to play winning football. So the players have had a great attitude through camp, so hopefully that'll carry over into the season.
Hopefully it will. Again, Utah State, September 3rd, 7:30 Eastern Time. It's on SEC Network. And then the next day, September 4th, Deion Sanders, you have a huge game right out of the gate against the team that's considered your biggest challenger in the SWAC East, Florida A&M. You know them well. Almost exactly a year to the day that you pulled off. Listen, it was a win. It was an ugly win, an important win against them. 7-6 was the final, turnovers, penalties. What should we expect this time around?
Well, fortunately, we get to watch FAMU play this weekend against North Carolina, so we kind of get a cheat sheet, and they don't have one on us. Coach Simmons is a phenomenal head coach. They have a great team with a bunch of guys that are NFL prospects. We can't wait to get down there to South Florida and play. Like Coach Saban says, we're just trying to perfect certain things, and we're trying to do those things consistently. We're trying to just pay close and attention to details and be consistent in all those things that we need to be consistent in that propel us to win this game.
Yeah, and really set the tone out of the gate for both of you. Let's go back real quick to how last year ended, because I'm sure both of you have thought about that a lot. Coach Saban, 1 game away from your 8th national championship, 7th with Alabama. I know how high you set the bar for your team and for yourself personally. You start with 17 players returning from that Georgia game. What did you learn from that game that maybe you've brought to your team this offseason?
Well, I think that we weren't able to finish. I think one of the things you have to do to be a great competitor is when things don't go well in the game, you always got to be able to sort of hit your chest and recenter, refocus your energy so you can play the next play. And being ahead 18-13 with 10 minutes to go in the game, and then giving up, 21 points or something, in the final 10 minutes of the game was really, really disappointing. But I think, players remember their disappointments, which can be used as a really positive motivator, I think, for the future. And hopefully that will help us, this year and doing the things we need to do to have success.
Yeah, and I know when they're in it, you don't even have to remind them of what happened or what didn't happen. Deion, you won SWAC Coach of the Year, just your 2nd season, but I know also that 21-point loss to South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl, that's got to still sting. Your quarterback, your son, Shedeur Sanders, he says he's watched the game a couple times and said he wasn't happy with his performance. You say your team is better this year. How is Shedeur better?
He's better because he has a better offensive line. We change OCs. We did a lot of changing and soul searching. Like Coach Saban said, we didn't finish whatsoever. No matter how you start, you got to finish anything in life. You just got to put a period or exclamation mark at the end of the sentence, and we didn't do that. And I'm going to take full responsibility for that. Had a long, wonderful season. You got to understand, we only had several guys amongst the team that have won state championships that really won and really understand how to win. Winning is a consistent thing that you do on a daily basis, small things, getting up on time, being in meetings on time, giving your all on this particular play consistently, and you have a bunch of small wins that culminate to major wins, and that's what we got to do. We got to learn how to win. We won the SWAC championships, cool, but everybody was so celebratory after that. I think we forgot that we had a championship game in Atlanta, and I'm gonna chain all the doors when we make it back this year. Let anyone out of that hotel, and to make sure that we are locked in and focused.
Coach Saban, you've got 4 preseason All-Americans. Quarterback Bryce Young, one of them obviously coming off that Heisman Trophy season. I was looking at video last night again. He was extremely hard on himself after the loss to Georgia, saying that he needs to be a better leader on the field specifically. What have you seen from him so far that could make him more of that, a leader, and even better in 2022?
Well, I think people forget that, Bryce was a first-year starter last year. So, sometimes you don't feel like when you're a new guy, new starter, that you should really, be taking the bull by the horns and being the kind of leader that impacts and affects other people, especially when there's a lot of older players around you. I think this year he's got a completely different disposition when it comes to that. He's done a really, really good job of affecting the players around him in a really positive way. And he's had a great attitude about continuing to try to improve and get better. He's not satisfied at all with, where he was and where he is and where the team is. So I think those are all, very positive factors for us.
Yeah, and it is so impressive to see someone so young want to take on that responsibility and that accountability, which is just what he did. One of the big topics in this offseason, Deion, was your hiring of former Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer as a consultant. Also, your position coach way back in your Cowboys days. And for those who missed it, here's what Zim said about what you are doing at Jackson State. He said, "I really think the sky's the limit. If some people would donate to him in this football program, there would be no stopping him. He would be competing with the Georgias and Alabamas and everybody around the country because I've seen what he's done. The money that's taken out of his own pocket to improve facilities and the things that he's had to try to overcome. That's the most notable part of what he said." So, Prime, is it as simple as getting more money, more donations? How close are you to competing with the Georgias and the Nick Saban's Alabamas of college football?
Well, certainly we don't have the resources and we don't have the roster that they entail. I think it's 22 more scholarships that they're allowed to have than what we would have. So matching up with Coach Saban guys is absurd right now until we get that interior to even think about it, to even fathom that matchup. I would love it in the future. But I don't know when that future will behold. But I'm happy. I'm elated with where we are, what we're doing, what we're accomplishing, and we're pushing an envelope. We have an expectation of greatness. We have an expectation of kids going to the NFL. We have an expectation of these kids going and changing the likes of their communities. We're trying to build men, not just professional football players, but we're trying to raise professionals.
Let's talk about the NIL topic real quick, because obviously it's still a hot one throughout all college sports. And we all know you both were in the headlines, discussing it this summer. And we're not going to go rehash all that. You've been there, done that. I would like to ask both of you, though, what the biggest challenge is with NIL. Coach Saban, if you could start.
Well, I think, first of all, name, image, and likeness is a great opportunity for players to make money. They've always been allowed to work. This is another opportunity to use what they've created on their own, through their own hard work, to be able to earn money. And I think that's a really, really good thing. I think, a couple things are of concern. We allow alumni through collectives to get involved in recruiting and other things. That's always something we've guarded against, in college football. I think, how does it create, what kind of competitive balance are we able to create, if we allow that to happen, which is not going to be great for fans. The best competitive balance you can have, just like in the NFL, they have rules to create competitive balance, whether it's salary cap, difficulty of schedule, where you draft, where you pick relative to your win-loss record. So those things are important, I think, in creating interest and creating a lot of good matchups, on a national basis. And I also think we don't have any rules in place to protect the players, from people who are trying to get between them and the money. So I think all those things are just some things that, some guardrails would be helpful in terms of the future of college football.
Yeah, this is a work in progress, obviously, for a long time to come. Deion, what do you think, in your mind, the biggest challenge?
First of all, we can't compete. We don't have collectives. We don't have anything like that. We're trying to rally up boosters, and you talk about collectives. I don't even know the definition of a collective. And it's name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. I'm happy that these kids are getting compensated. But when you talk about name, image, and likeness, I haven't seen anybody on anything. We keep talking about these kids are making millions of dollars. What do they own? Where is the name, the image, and the likeness? Or is it just collective? It's just paying these kids to participate at this or that college. We don't have that. Again, we don't have those resources. We can't compete with that. So the little guy is pushed aside because now when it comes down to, is this guy going to choose this college or that college, we can't compete with anteing up to make sure that kid is compensated like he wants to be compensated. And I want these kids to start back focusing on the NFL and not the NIL. Now you have kids not even thinking about the wonderful job that Coach Saban has done and the track record that he's accumulated, but or the position coach, or does this scheme fit him? They're thinking about NIL. So if the money fits, I go there. And that's not the way to attack this thing, because the NFL is what's going to sustain you and maintain you, not the NIL.
Listen, this was already a difficult job that both of you had as head coaches at this level. And as much as there's positive and people are happy and kids are getting paid, this is even tougher now, your job, because of NIL. So we'll keep track of all that as it evolves. Coach Saban, we all know your resume, and I know you roll your eyes when I repeat all this stuff, but you've led your teams to the national championship game 6 of the last 7 years, and you haven't lost more than 2 games since 2010. Just a couple of reasons why you were just given another new contract, 8 years, almost $94 million to be exact, and that's an average of 11.7 per year, the highest in the sport. I assume you consulted with Miss Terry, and he deserves it, right, Prime? Consulting with Miss Terry before deciding to sign a deal that will see you turn 79, I think, during the final year of that contract. How long can you see yourself as the head coach at Alabama?
Well, first of all, and I want to, comment on what Deion, just talked about. We're really trying to create value for players and their future. And we don't like to have things that can be impediments to that. In other words, the reason we all went to college was to develop personally, academically, develop a career off the field, see if we could develop a career on the field and play at the next level. So creating value for players is one of the most important things that we've tried to do so that they're more successful in life because they were involved in the program. And that's what we want to continue to challenge ourselves to do. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy being a part of a team. Like I've said before, I worry a lot about what would I do if I didn't do this.
Right.
Most people say I want to retire so I can go to Europe or whatever. I'm just the opposite, because I love doing this. I love being a part of a team. I love the competition, love the relationships with the players, love to see them sort of develop and have a better chance to be successful. And it makes you very proud when you see them do well. So I'm going to do it as long as I'm not an impediment to this program. I don't want to ride the program down. So I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about this year and our team and what we can do and what we can do in the future.
The long-term future for sure. Again, 79 years old when you're in that final year. And who knows, maybe more after that. Deion, you're only 55. You got a good 20 years left, right?
First of all, I just want everything after the comma. I want everything after the comma but Coach Saban. Coach Saban is our magna cum laude. He's our guy. You wouldn't question Michael Jordan. You don't question LeBron when they're given a contract of this status and this status. We should never question him. I love what he's doing. I love the bar that he set. And every opportunity that I get to sit with him on this wonderful Aflac set, I'm gleaning from him just some of the fruit and the nuggets that he's able to spit to me. So I'm thankful. I'm happy. Well-deserved. No one. I wish I would catch anybody saying anything about a contract that Coach Saban has warranted. He is the GOAT.
Not one person is debating how valid it is that Coach Saban got this deal. Listen, thank you. By the way, next time, Coach, when we have more time, Coach Saban, I would love an explanation of your desk behind you, because there's a lot there. That's impressive. It's there.
There's a lot of things that need to be put away from there. But I do want to make a comment. I enjoy so much the relationship with Deion to do the Aflac and the Gap Goat thing this year has always been really, really fun, but it was especially fun this year. And hopefully people realize what they can accomplish by using Aflac to close the gap on some of the issues they have with insurance.
Nick Saban, Deion Sanders, both of you are wonderful. Thank you for taking so much time with us here on SportsCenter, and have fun. Good luck to both of you this season.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.